Welcome back to the final segment of this week's installment of Sun Devil Extra from the Mountain America Credit Union's Sun Devil Radio Network. I'm Tim Healey, the radio play-by-play voice of Sun Devil football, men's basketball, and baseball. Delighted that you took time to join us this week. As we wind down our conversation on ASU football with Sun Devil spring practice set to begin next week, we're about to introduce you to one of the newest members of the Arizona State football program. He is an edge rusher who spent the last 4 seasons at one of ASU's future Big 12 conference rivals, playing for the Bearcats of the University of Cincinnati, where in 30 career games he had 46 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback sacks coming off the edge. He comes from Cleveland, Ohio, and we are happy to welcome Justin Wodtly to the program and welcome him to Arizona State University. Good to see you, partner. How you been?
Thank you, man. I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, how are you, Justin? A kid from Cleveland, destined to life in the desert. What's it been like for you?
Man, it feels good waking up in January with no snow, man. So the whole winter months and everything has definitely been different, but everybody keeps warning me about this heat that's about to come, so I'm getting ready for that right now.
We'll check back with you in July and see how you're feeling, but no, it is a great place to be in the winter for sure. Now, Justin was a part of a Cincinnati program that in recent years had established itself as one of the premier programs in the country and is new itself, transitioning to the Big 12. They made the move last year. Tell us about the factors that led you to hit the transfer portal.
Right now, well, we had a coaching change at Cincinnati, and I got recruited under Luke Fickell, and he ended up going to Wisconsin. And so last year, my main focus was really trying to keep the pieces, together on the team. Really especially being under Coach Fick those first 2 years, playing in the Peach Bowl, playing in the college football playoff, seeing what it takes to be successful. So basically, trying to, hold everything together. And then, I feel like at the end of last season, me as a football player, I had to sit down and really think about, the things that, I wanted in my future. And I feel like my time at Cincinnati was coming to an end. I feel like I exhausted all my, my resources there. And I have no regrets, man. I'm grateful for all the time I spent there, and I was ready to, take that next step into making it to the next level. And I feel like this was the place to be.
What was it like being in the transfer portal? That's something I think is sometimes overlooked, because I would imagine once you enter your name in there, isn't there a certain level of apprehension, wondering if you're going to find a taker, someone that wants you, or a program that fits what you're looking for?
Yeah, so really, the process is really different for everybody. For me, it was, my phone was ringing nonstop, from numerous different coaches, Iowa State, here, TCU, Kansas State. There was a lot of different places.
Wow.
So really just going into the transfer portal, knowing what you're looking for, you can't go in there blind and just, going off of faith. You got to have a plan. So me, I know I wanted to play for a coach that was building stability around them. I didn't want to go somewhere and then a week after getting there, that coach leaves, or, things like that. So I wanted to be somewhere with stability, play for a passionate coach who is passionate about molding me into the player that he wants me to be, and playing in a defense that will help me benefit my skill set. So I feel like coming here, taking my visit here, all those boxes were checked, and it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So.
Really? I mean, as you were saying that, I'm checking boxes mentally myself. I mean, it seems like you hit the jackpot with Coach Kenny Dillingham and his staff here, don't you think?
Definitely. I feel like this was the best decision for me for sure.
Yeah. Now you're joining a Sun Devil team whose edge rushers a year ago were frankly one of the strengths of the Arizona State football team, with players like B.J. Green, Clayton Smith, and Prince Dorba coming off the edge, harassing opposing quarterbacks. Now, B.J. Green, as we all know, is no longer with the program, but Prince Dorba and Clayton Smith are, and you add yourself to the mix. Give us your take on what that edge rusher group is going to be like this year.
Man, when I was getting recruited, Coach Reynolds was really just preaching competition, so trying to make our room edges, D tackles, really as competitive as possible. So bringing in a lot of guys and, I'm building those relationships with Clayton, with Prince, CJ, and a lot of those other guys. It was really important to me, coming as one of the older guys in the room. I wanted to come in and be a leader. So being able to connect with those guys early and build those relationships, I feel will only make our room better.
What will you bring to the group? Clearly, the experience and leadership factor is there with you with the 4 years you spent at a good program at Cincinnati.
I'm a competitor. I'm not the type of guy that, will come in and try to take plays off or things like that, man. I know what I came here for, and I want to execute that goal. I know the goals that, Coach Dilly has set for our program, and those are things that I want to reach. So being able to come in here and compete and make this really good D-line room a little bit better. Those are my goals for our season.
Now, you mentioned some of the coaches. Of course, Coach Dillingham. The Sun Devils have a new defensive line coach in Dyron Reynolds, and also a terrific second-year defensive coordinator in Brian Ward. Talk about playing for Coach Ward's defense and for Coach Reynolds, and what you think you can learn from them.
Man, this was probably the most energetic staff that recruited me coming out of the transfer portal. So being able to play for coaches with a lot of energy, who are very passionate about this game, and who are, at the end of the day, going to develop me beyond football. So Coach Reynolds, talking to him, it was so smooth. Like the conversation felt so comfortable. So, and the resume that he has, it would be a no-brainer to come play for a coach that, has won a Super Bowl in the NFL, coached for 8 years at Stanford. So being around guys that know what it takes to get to the next level, and something that I ultimately want to achieve. So surrounding me by successful people will only make myself successful, and I'm very adamant on all energy being contagious, whether it's positive or negative. Energy is contagious. So they've been showing me a lot of positive energy and positive things and a positive mindset. So like I said before, man, it was a no-brainer. It was a very easy decision to come here.
Seems to me you can't wait till next week to get back on the field as for spring ball, huh?
Definitely. I'm excited, man.
Well, that's really cool. What do you hope to see yourself and your team accomplish this spring?
Going into the first season in the Big 12, I know that, there's a lot of people out there that probably don't believe. There's a lot of people that are probably doubting, and seeing it every day, seeing that, coming from a different program, you can have two perspectives on how to look at things. So coming in here, seeing how dialed in, this team is, how committed, how everybody holds each other accountable, you can really see that this is going to be something that's going to be very special here. And me, I'm liking to observe everything. I'm walking around our facility, and we have a lot of trophies, but the dates are real old. So I'm trying to bring some new hardware to our building, and accomplish a lot of wins.
Boy, that's one of the best phrases I think I've heard in a long time. That really is to the point, man. That's well said. And you have an interesting perspective. We've had a lot of football players on during the off season to get fans excited for the coming season, of course. And I've asked all of them their thoughts on being part of the first Arizona State team to play in the Big 12. But you bring a different perspective because you're going back to the conference from which you came. You spent 4 years at Cincinnati, and the last year you were in the Big 12 conference. Give us a sense of what ASU is in store for moving to the Big 12.
At Cincinnati, we made more of a vertical jump, coming from the American to the Big 12. I feel like over here it's more lateral, so it's easier to, you already have, Power 5, quote unquote, guys in your locker room. So you're not really going anywhere looking to build the roster that can compete in this conference. So me going into this conference, I'm expecting us to do really well. Knowing that, there's those big names out there, but it's not nothing different. It's not nothing that we can't handle. And I'm excited to go back into this conference and, have a better outcome than I did last year.
And I bet you have the date of Saturday, October 19th circled on your calendar. Definitely. Arizona State at Cincinnati. What's that going to be like?
Man, talking with Coach Silver, he brought that up a lot when he was recruiting me, man. And really, when things get hard in the weight room and things get hard running sprints or pushing sleds and stuff, that date always clicks back in the back of my head and gives me a little bit extra to push and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get a chance to, go compete against those guys, man. And I'm excited to be on the winning sideline for that game, though, for sure.
We're talking with new Sun Devil Justin Wodtly, a transfer from the University of Cincinnati and a product of Cleveland Heights High School in Cleveland, Ohio. Among their famous alums, none other than the Kelsey brothers, Travis and Jason Kelsey, both products of Cleveland Heights. Are they like rock stars there now?
Man, all the time, man. Every time they go back, it's a bunch of love getting shown to them guys. So I think Jason, he's probably going to be back there a lot more now that, he has a little bit more free time on his hands. So.
He is retired from the Philadelphia Eagles, that's right.
Yeah, so those guys they definitely get a lot of praise and a lot of love in Cleveland Heights.
Tell the story about when they came back once and what one of your teachers, how she reacted.
Yeah, my sophomore year, it was the day they were getting inducted into to the Hall of Fame.
At the school, right?
Yes, and he was walking down the hallway and
was
he
it
peeked
Travis?
his head. Yeah, Travis.
Okay.
He peeked his head in one of our classrooms and everybody starts going crazy, but our English teacher, she wasn't having it, man. She was ready to get back to the lecture. So
Clearly not a sports fan, I guess she wasn't, huh? Hey, tell us a little bit about your major and what your college plans are, other than, of course, playing on Sundays in the NFL, I'm sure.
Yeah, so right now I'm majoring in liberal studies, and I graduate in December, hoping to get my master's in communications. This is something that I'm interested in.
No kidding.
Yes, and basically anything that really has to do with like sports broadcasting and things like that, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Scott Van Pelt, things like that. That's something that I've really been interested in. And you kind of, like, when you're talking in the locker room and stuff like that, you're kind of already, doing it. So it's kind of practice, so to speak. So that's something that I'm definitely interested in. And when my playing days are over, whether it's, at the end of this season or 12 years in the NFL, that's something I want to go into.
Well, if it helps your decision making, Annie, I can tell you that when I was in the 8th grade, and I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was, I decided that I wanted to be a sportscaster because I love talking about sports, and I figured out if you're a sportscaster, you get paid to do it. So yes. I don't know if that rings a bell with you, but I'll tell you what, you're pretty doggone good at it. This may have been one of the top 5 interview segments in the history of Sun Devil Extra, but you ought to think about it, man.
Definitely.
I think you've got a future in it. But we are so happy to have you at Arizona State and looking forward to seeing you on the field. By the way, do you know your uniform number yet, what you'll be wearing this year?
I'm hopefully trying to get 95 this year. I'm in 90 right now, but me and Kyron Borda, me and him having a little conversation, so we're gonna see what happens.
So check out either number 90 or 95 in the maroon and gold this fall, and I think you'll like what you see from Justin Wodtly, the newest Sun Devil from the University of Cincinnati. Great having you on the show. Best of luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Sun Devil newcomer Justin Wodtly, our guest here on Sun Devil Extra, and with that, we bring down the curtain on this week's show, and we thank you so much for joining us. A couple of other thank yous before we take our leave. Thanks to our show producer, Arizona State Senior Associate Athletic Director Doug Tamaro, and thanks to our terrific engineer-producer, Sean Crespin, from the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network for his technical expertise. We'll be back next week with another edition of Sun Devil Extra, and we hope you'll make plans to drop by and visit. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon. Till next time, I'm Tim Healey. So long, everybody.